Hello and welcome to On the Air with FDT-TV. Sorry for the close-up to start off with. I do currently have my mother's sunglasses on. And without my normal glasses, I can't see a bloody thing. So, although I don't think I look too terrible in them, to be fair. Maybe I need to get up there.
I think you are definitely rocking them.
That's better. I can actually see. I can't tell whether I look good because I was slightly blurry. Mike, obviously, is supporting Bubba Gump, the old Forrest Gump shrimp
corporation
of Fit Everything Shrimp. We're now almost done, aren't we, with the group stages of Euro 2020 that's being played in Euro 2021. I still can't quite get my head around what we should call it. But yeah, before we start that, I think what we should say is, if you haven't already, then please head over to our YouTube page and subscribe. You'll find the Gold Cup. We would much appreciate it. We are currently on the road to 100 subscribers, and we are ever so close. But we seem to have hit a little bit of a lull. Everyone's subscribed that wants to subscribe. But yeah, if you haven't already, please head over there and subscribe to us, because it gives us a little bit of a ego boost, if nothing else. What will we say about Euro 2020, played in 2021? I think we should start with Eriksen's been discharged from hospital.
Yes, fantastic news.
It is very good. He's been fitted with an internal defibrillator, a bit like Daley Blind has, but there are still question marks over whether he will play professional football again, because of it was around a cardiac arrest rather than an enlarged chamber in his heart. So hopefully we see him playing at the top level again, because he's a sublime footballer. We were lucky enough to have him for 8 seasons in the Premier League. Unfortunately, it was for Spurs, but someone's got to play for him. But yeah, second to that, Jude Bellingham, I see, got his record broken for being the youngest player to appear at the Euros in the men's senior competition. I didn't catch the name of who did it, but someone else has beaten it. So, hey ho, you don't get that record for long. And also, speaking of records, Ronaldo has got another record on Messi, which is the first person to play in 5 senior men's European Championships. Obviously, all the haters will say, well, Messi's not allowed to play in them because he's Argentinian. Australia's in the Eurovision. I don't know what his problem is.
That's a fair point, mate.
It's just an excuse, isn't it? It's an excuse. It's a poor excuse. Any excuse, eh?
And with his goal as well, hasn't he scored like 100 European goals or something stupid for internationals?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's crazy. He's an absolute machine. He's caused a bit of a stir, didn't he, with his Coca-Cola bottle movement, which was followed on with Locatelli, I think is how you pronounce it, for Italy, doing the same, and then Paul Pogba moving the Heineken bottles. They've all moved water bottles in front of the camera. What they failed to see is that those water bottles are also made by Coca-Cola. So a little bit of... I understand what the message is, but in the same sense...
Did you see the Scotland chap? There was pre-match interview.
No.
Oh, mate, you need to check it out. It's one of the funniest things I've seen, right? So obviously you just mentioned about moving the water bottles and a bit like removing the beer bottles. I can't remember who it was from Scotland come out, and he went, "No Coke, eh?" So he said, "Like, have you not got? Am I not allowed a Coke or something?" It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I think you need to watch it.
I will have a look. It's sort of taken over the last few days of the Euros, isn't it? Is this thing? And it is the professional athletes promoting being healthy, which is good, I think, in the long term. I just think it's quite funny that water is also produced by Coca-Cola. So, I mean, they own everything, don't they? Got fingers in many pies.
Not in my pie.
Not in your pie. Well, you might like. I think I'd like Coke's finger in my pie. So, Mike, England, Scotland.
Yes.
It was a nil-nil draw. But,
Yep.
give us a rundown of your good, your bad, your indifferent, on what you made of it.
So, it was a game that had so much promise. It was obviously the old enemy coming down. The first game I think was played in 1872, I think it was, or 1892, or somewhere in the late 1800. It was one of those games, as I said, it had so much hype around it. Obviously, we needed to secure the 3 points. There was the game between the Czech Republic and Croatia earlier that day, which was a draw. So taking the 3 points advantage meant we could have relaxed in the Czech Republic game, which is going on tomorrow. However, in good old England fashion, when the hype is up, the buzz is all around, we get a dismal performance. I'm not going to say it was completely terrible. It was just kind of like the England that we are so pessimistic about. Obviously, you look at our Euro build-up before, and we were talking about how England are so disappointing when it comes to the crunch and yada, yada, yada. And effectively, that's what that display was for me. It was so disappointing. John Stones was unlucky, hit the crossbar.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't really think there was much threat that was offered from England. Harry Kane, again, just going back to his performance in the first game, was abysmal. There were times I see him in a deep number 10 role. And when you had the likes of Sterling and Phil Foden playing in a more advanced position, it's not good from someone who you want to rely on to score your goals. Personally, in fact, I'll come on to that in a minute. But for me, Scotland, I think, were the better team by far. Kieran Tierney, I thought, was absolutely outstanding. In fact, the whole Scotland squad were outstanding.
Yeah.
Had a shot saved off the line. That was good defending, but it was just a bit of a damp squib game, to be honest. And I'm blaming my mate Stu because he ended up getting tickets to go to the game. And I said, "Don't you put a jinx on it?" And sure enough, we had a So well done, Stu. Not a great game, and it puts a lot of pressure on us tomorrow.
I mean, as we were saying with just before we started recording, it needed a big tackle. It needed someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, put in a big lunging challenge, and get everyone rolled up. And I don't see where that not anger, but that ferocity is going to come, and you need that in a winning squad. Every you look at all the big teams who've won across Europe for many years, they've all got someone who's prepared to put in a big tackle. So yeah, I just hope that we find something soon and go from there.
To be honest, mate, if we put in any more performances like we did against Scotland, I mean, I may be doing Scotland a disservice here, because I mean they were a bit lackluster against the Czech Republic in the first game.
Yeah.
Obviously got caught out by a couple of goals, so a set piece goal, and one, the goalkeeper was pretty much by the halfway line. So I suppose from that aspect, it was a bit of a lucky goal. But we kind of expected it. Scotland needed to turn up. They need to keep their Euro dreams alive. And they've got a tough game coming into playing Croatia, which is also tomorrow, I believe. But so, getting a point against us, I mean, I think on the Czech Republic top, with us second, Croatia third, and Scotland fourth on a point. So, I mean, it does make an exciting finish for tomorrow, with both games being played at the same time. It makes it a bit more entertaining, because obviously there can't be any match fixing or anything like that in order to decide the groups or whatever. But for me, our qualification should be dead and buried by now. We should be done. Yep. We should be into the next round.
Yep.
And unless changes are made, I've got to be honest, unless changes are made, I see us struggling against the Czech Republic.
I think the Czech Republic arguably is going to be a harder game than the Scotland game. When you look at it, they're the most improved team in European football over the last few years. But they've got the players, and we've seen them in the Premier League and around leagues in Europe. They've got the players who are prepared to battle it out and do that, and that's why they're above us. I can see Croatia winning against Scotland. I think Scotland put on a good display against us, where a lot of people thought we were going to walk it, which will then put Croatia, depending on how many goals they score, above us. So we need at least a point from this Czech Republic game, which if we played the way we played against Scotland, I don't think we're going to get. What changes would you make?
Harry Kane's got to be dropped for me. I know he's our captain, but for me, I think his head's clearly not in it. And I know he did say just at the end of the season he wanted all of his transfer speculation sorted out before going into the Euros. It hasn't been done, obviously, and I think that's potentially weighing over his head because obviously he needs to kind of work out what he wants to do at a club level.
Yep.
Whether he's going to stay at Spurs or whether he's going to move on. Obviously, that depends on the bids that come in for him. But for me, he's got to be dropped. Like I said, two abysmal performances. He's been substituted in the games for not doing anything. And I think it'd be fair to say, and I know people are coming out and saying, "Oh, he's invaluable. He's the Premier League top striker." We're not seeing it, and we haven't got time to be faffing around with it. We need goals, and we've scored one goal in this competition so far, and that was Raheem Sterling. It's not good. So for me, Calvert-Lewin in for Harry Kane.
Yep.
He's got pace. I know he's not as prolific, but he can score goals. Like I said, I think he did it well in the build-up to the Euros. Scored a couple of goals, so I think he's got to be considered, or he's got to be in with a shout. The only other option would be for Rashford, play Rashford up top instead. But for me personally, my preference would be for Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling, to be fair, I don't think he's played too badly. Obviously, I just mentioned he got the goal in the first game for us, but for me, certainly in the Scotland game, didn't really offer much. And we do have other options. Like I said, we've got Marcus Rashford has come on out in that position, but we've also got the young boy Bukayo Saka. He's had an amazing season for us. Personally, I'll give him the chance. Phil Foden, I think, has been okay, but again, we've seen him substituted, I believe, in both games.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips, for me, has got to stay in. I think, again, has been one of our better players over the course of the two games. Yeah, so the back four I'd probably keep the same.
Yeah, I think people, there were question marks about Mings, wasn't there, and whether he should be taken out, but I don't think he's put a foot wrong, really. I think it'd be most unfair to take him out for Harry Maguire. I mean, something that may come into it, Chilwell and Mount are being told they've got to isolate for mixing with Billy Gilmore after the final whistle, who has since tested positive for COVID. And the trouble with that is he was playing on Tuesday, whenever it was, Sunday, Saturday, I don't know, whenever we last played.
Sunday.
And
Friday,
that was it. And the fact that he was on the pitch mixing with all the players, surely they should all have to isolate. Don't quite know how it works, and there's obviously protocols in place. So we could see some false change from that with Mason Mount coming out. I know a lot of the papers and the media in Germany are perplexed that Jadon Sancho hasn't managed to get a minute, having 35 goal in interactions. He's scored 20 and assisted 15, something like that, in the last season for Borussia Dortmund, who were having a torrid season. And I do think maybe getting him on, bringing Phil Foden back into the midfield, playing him where he plays for Man City alongside Kevin De Bruyne, give Sancho a run. He's got some pace on him. The worst that's going to happen is it's still not going to work, and you bring on someone else. You change it. We do need to start scoring now. You're right. One goal in 180 minutes isn't good, is it? Really?
No.
And you said there about Harry Kane and his transfer business. We have literally 10-15 minutes ago breaking news that Manchester City have formally made a £100 million bid for him. It was rumoured that they bid for him in January, sort of privately, and it was turned down. And now they've gone public with their bid. I do think that's the most likely destination for him. We did discuss this a little bit a few weeks ago. But do you think Spurs will want more for him, or do you think they'll take the money and run?
Nah, of course they want more. I reckon if that deal's done, because I did or briefly say that they Manchester City are willing to include players in as well as the transfer. But for me, do you know what I could see happening? Do you remember what happened with Gareth Bale?
Yep.
When they sold him to Real Madrid, and they got all that cash, and then they went out and spent it on like 11 players or something stupid, whatever it was.
Yep.
I could see something happening similar to that, because I think they'll hold out. I reckon the final transfer figure will be somewhere in the region of 110, 115 million to get that deal over the line.
Yeah.
And let's face it, Man City aren't short of money.
No.
So I think 110, 115 million. Obviously, they do have issues in terms of management. They still haven't got a permanent manager yet. There have been managers going in, managers going out of discussions. But if they do appoint someone, I think it's going to come off the back of the Euros, and they'll want, obviously, their own war chest. So I think that will happen later on in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
After the Euros, they'll get the deal finalised, and then they can invest that money into new players, which I don't think is a bad bit of business in terms of the fact that they potentially won't have to then spend any money. It's all going to be net profit. But for me, I think the guy's given Spurs the best years of his life. I think he deserves to be moved on, because at the end of the day, he wants to win titles, and he's never going to win a title at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, and it does make you think: is that deal already done, sort of behind closed doors? Because Spurs take on Man City in their opening day fixture, and that's on TV. So you think actually that's a huge selling point, isn't it? Gareth Bale, Harry Kane going back to Tottenham, playing for Manchester City. Is he going to score on his first thing? You say there about obviously the investment. They've got a big stadium to pay off, and being an Arsenal fan, you know much about not having much of a transfer budget because they want to pay off the stadium. Do you think Tottenham will use that same excuse? We'll get 115 million, as you said, for him potentially. So we'll invest 20 million, and 100 million is going on the stadium.
I think that with that sort of money, I would be very surprised if if more than that isn't invested into new players. Obviously, I do get that they have got a massive debt from the building of the stadium, and obviously with fans coming back into the stadiums as well, it's going to alleviate some of that pressure, because obviously they'll be getting an income.
Yep.
But it wouldn't surprise me if some of that does go on paying outstanding debts, with the rest going on to players. But I don't think. Well, you don't know. It could be 20 million going on a player, with the rest paying off the debts. You just don't know.
I think a lot of the managers who have gone in with a thing of I want to buy players, and Tottenham are saying no. That was what seemingly came out with Conte, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. That he wanted to go and buy players that are already proven, and Tottenham said no, we can't support that. Obviously, Harry Kane's got to be a big question mark because he is a draw to manage. There's not been a single manager who's been at Tottenham that he's played under that hasn't said he isn't a consummate professional, and he's a pleasure to manage. So just watch his space, I suppose. Mm. Hopefully that gets done. If it gets done later today or in the next couple of days, we'll see him firing back at his best, because he's then no longer worrying about other things, and you may have hit the nail on the head. That may be playing in the background of his mind, and that's his main focus. Right, so Czech Republic. Souček and
your boys.
Souček and Soufal. We know all about them in the Premier League. I do think it could be an interesting battle, because I imagine we're going to see Declan Rice man-marking Thomas Souček. Can he keep
100%.
up? Can he keep up with him though? That's the trouble, because he just keeps running. He just keeps running. They've got a fair few good players, haven't they? The Czech Republic. I know most of them will probably be playing for West Ham next season, but They have got a fair few good players, so I'm a little bit worried about it. And if you offered it to me now, I'd take a 1-1 draw. And I know that sounds a little bit pessimistic, but that will be enough to take us through 5 points. Even if it's at third place, we will still end up going through. Maybe not in the most desirable of positions, but we've just got to hope that Scotland do us a favour as well, I suppose. And beat Croatia. Oh, I don't. What do you think? What's your prediction on it?
Again, just to echo what you said, I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm hoping for a draw, as you said, obviously to get through, because a point is enough. But I don't want to be kind of that laughing stock where you go from being one of the favourites to win the tournament for just scraping through your group. When you look at some of the other groups in the tournament, where you look at the likes of your Portugals, your Germanys in the same group,
Yeah,
it would be very embarrassing to come up with lesser opposition and still struggle to scrape through. So, like you said, the Czech Republic, they have got some fantastic players from what we've seen over the course of the competition so far. And like you also said, they have massively improved. But I am very cautious going into the game. I think one of the things that we do have on our side is some experience within the England setup to know how some of their players work.
Yeah.
If they haven't done their homework on the Czech Republic, boy, do they need to do some, because they've got pace, they've got strength, they've got endurance.
Yeah.
It's not a game to be taken lightly. And like you mentioned with Croatia, with Scotland as well, I think that's going to be another entertaining game. And if Scotland put in a performance like they did against us, against Croatia, goals is something that they are also missing out on. So they obviously need to kind of come up with the goods and potentially do us a favour as well. But remains to be seen. But to give you my prediction, I am probably going to go for a 2-1 to England.
I'd take that result. I would take that result. Don't get me wrong. I would enjoy a win, but don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. Now, you mentioned about other groups. We see, obviously, Italy take on Turkey in the first game. I thought that was going to be the last game. Turkey were my sort of wild card to do well in this tournament. And a number of people, from what I've seen online, thought they would as well. Individually, they've got some really good players, but they've just not seem to be able to make things work. And they're now out.
Yep.
Italy, on the other hand, are not playing like Italy. They're attacking, and when they get a goal, they're attacking some more, which is why they're my favourites to win. What do you make of it? It's not like they used to be, where they'd get a goal and just sit back and defend.
Yeah,
I can't quite get my head around it.
No, they. Do you know what? I suppose they were kind of like in the back of my mind. Again, I think they're a team that have due a good performance in the tournament, and quite a few people's favourites to win. Certainly speaking to a few of my mates about it, I know that they were heavily tipped, them or France. France have also looked okay, a bit shaky at the back, but again can score goals. As you saw the France-Hungary game, and could have won it, but again, I think that was an outstanding performance from Hungary. But Italy, they're definitely ones to watch for this tournament. One team I have to say I'm very disappointed with so far is Spain. Yeah. Obviously, my tip to win the tournament, and I think they've got 2 draws out of their game so far. So very disappointing. And from the hype that we see with Spain, that they've kind of progressed from where they were, the more fast pace, knocking the ball around, a severe goal threat, and they've been probably as good as us so far in the tournament.
Yeah.
Germany, I think after their first game, were a little bit lackluster, but my God, did they give Portugal an absolute spanking. very, very, very entertaining game to watch.
Yeah.
Germany were 1-0 up. The goal was disallowed for fine margins for offside. Portugal go out the other end and score. And then it was just like back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got a neck ache after it. It was such a good game. Again, Portugal, I think we're a little bit unlucky with a couple of shots as well. But Germany, I've definitely contenders as well. So if I could change my prediction, I would say either Italy or Germany to win this tournament. But again, we've still got one round of fixtures to go.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot can change.
Spain can still finish top of their group. Of how things lie, they can still finish top of their group. I think they've not been clinical enough, have they? That's been their problem. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, it's exciting. There's so much football on that I seem to want to watch it all, but can't quite get enough hours in a day to watch it all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think it's a shame that we've not been more impressive, especially playing on home turf. But hey, hopefully that's just a slow burn, and as we get into the tournament a bit more, that we will see a better performance or better team performances. Now, transfers. You say about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Allegedly, Carlo Ancelotti's going in for him because he wants a new striker at Real Madrid. Could we see Calvert-Lewin at Real Madrid? Would that make him England's number one? I don't know. Certainly, if he started playing and scoring, that would help Real Madrid to sign him. Yeah. I'm certain I'd go, yeah, we'll have him. Has there been any rumours in the Arsenal transfer mill?
That's all there's been, mate. I think we've been linked with everyone. I get caught up in the same cycle every transfer window. I say to myself, I'm not going to look at social media. I'll just wait until we get announcements to say we've made an official bid, or Arsenal have made an official bid for a player. It's either been rejected or accepted. But no, honestly, mate, I think we're possibly up to about 300 players that we're linked to at the moment. So there's still room towards the end of the transfer window. It might go up to 500 players that we're linked to, and we sign an absolute diddly squat. Or we'll possibly see some outs, but no ins. But apparently, we've got this £250 million war chest.
Where have you got that from?
Yeah, some reports that I've seen on social media. But no, apparently we've got this. Apparently, it's £250 million. And like I said to you, when this whole Super League business kicked off and went completely tits up, I said that the Cronkies are going to have to do something massive in order to appease the fans. The only way they're going to be able to appease fans is by making some big money transfers. No, I know that just because of the way or the size of the transfer fee doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a good player. If we look at the Nicolas Pepe example, I mean, he's slowly getting into it certainly towards the back end of last season. Brilliant. But I think one of the things that weighs over him is his transfer. But I genuinely think that the owners are either going to have to sell up or they're going to have to put their hands in their pockets and make some transfers.
I think the trouble you have with Arsenal is you want to get back in the Champions League, and I know you haven't got any European football this year, but then it makes it harder to attract
the big players.
Some of the big players. So you maybe get some players who were good 4 or 5 years ago, a bit like Willian, still a decent player, but past his prime. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the way you go with it. I don't know. So it's a hard one to call.
Yeah, we'll certainly see over the course of the weeks. There's a few players that I think would, or just from what we've seen so far in the Euros, would be a good signing. But again, without the pull of European football and the lack of investment from the owners, it's all pipe dreams at the moment. So I think for me, as soon as I start to see some reports on your more reputable sites, i.e. your BBCs and your Sky Sports, I'm just going to take it with a pinch of salt with all these transfer rumours and stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. And what I will say is, in the world of strongman, the world has got a little bit spicier. Tom Stoltman, cover your ears, actually, if you're waiting until Christmas to hear this, because that's when it's on TV, but it's happened now. Tom Stoltman is the world's strongest man. Bettered his place from second last year after dropping an anvil and costing him first place. He's now the world's strongest man. And because of that, he's a British athlete, because he's a champion. He's Scottish, but they strong man, they go under Britain. Brian,
like they do with tennis.
A bit like they do with tennis. Brian Shaw could have won his fifth. It was very close between those two. They were miles out in front from the rest of the competition. Came in second for the USA, and Maxine Boudreau for Canada came third. So look forward to it at Christmas. And yeah, Britain are on top again.
Come on, Britain.
I have got a bit of trivia, a trivia quiz for you. We've only got one question,
Right.
see if you know it. There is only one man who has won the world's strongest man title 5 times. And he's European. Can you name him?
I don't know his name, but I want to say he's like from Sweden or Norway.
He's not. He's from Poland.
And
it is Mariusz Pudzianowski.
No, I wouldn't have got that.
Who, for many of you know, a lot of strongmen are now looking a bit more like him, packed with muscle. When he did it, it was the big bellies and the that was how strongmen looked. He didn't fit the bill, but he won it 5 times, deservedly so. Yeah, but that's a little bit of news from other sports around the world. I don't have anything else to add about the Euros until the game tomorrow, really.
No, nothing from me. Obviously, well done to Wales for getting through to the next stages. Done well. Be good to see all of the home nations go through. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see tomorrow, and we'll either be crying next week or we'll be more jubilant.
Yeah, football is either going to be coming home after tomorrow, or everyone's going to be fed up. That's,
yes.
There's no football's dead in this country. Like there's only 2 ways it's going to go tomorrow. Hopefully it's the first. But
yep.
Until next week, I've been Ian.
I've been Mike.
We are FDT-TV, and as we said at the beginning, make sure you're subscribed. If you're still listening at this point, use the word #sausage in the comment section. And we will see you next week.
Thanks very much.